I'm here to talk about good content that works, getting traffic, winning at the internet. For legal reasons, there will be some things that I might imply or infer. I did not do that, and don't ever tweet about them. So if you ever see a picture of two celebrities, and then you think, maybe they had an affair, I had nothing to do with that, okay? So let's go on. Let's get, this is what I decided to call my talk, Your Readers Don't Matter, It's Their Friends That Count. And this is about the concept of the person who's already on your page of content, you've already got them, who cares? It's about making content that they want to share with their friends. Right, it's the first slide. There's some topics, they're boring. Right, getting started in online journalism. There's quite a few bloggers here who'd like to kind of make that transition to getting paid and being really jaded. How I got started. I was a man in my bedroom writing about freelance journalism, doing stupid, dangerous things, and I became obsessed with motorbikes. This motorbike specifically, which is the Triumph Daytona 675. Anyone ridden one? This is the pinnacle of human civilization, this bike. It's British engineering. I mean, obviously it was designed by a French person and it's built in Thailand, but it's a wonder. So I really wanted one. They're quite expensive, and I was a shit journalist, so I had no money. So I started a blog about saving up for the Triumph Daytona, and just wrote about things to do with the bike, saving up for bikes. I found a bike in a shed and started trying to build that. And I got higher in search engine rankings than Motorcycle News, which is the biggest motorcycle website in the world. So I phoned them up and said, I'm a man in my pants, I'm beating you, can I have a job? They gave me a job, I got given one of these bikes, and that's what happened to it. I'm not dead, as you may have noticed. So yeah, that's just kind of letting you know that I got my job through blogging, through messing around on the internet, and that really is how everyone's going to get their jobs these days. Right, so the first thing I want to talk about is work experience, because I was asking people in the office what bad work experience people have done. Work experience is a great way to get into a magazine, but here are some things that happened. So one person didn't know what a fax machine was and was disgusted that they'd have to go and find out. Someone else invited their boyfriend into the office, sat on his lap and then snogged him for a while. Don't do that. Another person didn't know how to use a phone. And then the other key thing, and this is a bit vague, sorry I came up with this, I didn't realise I had to have a presentation, I just thought I'd talk, is make problems go away. Like if you're in for work experience, and really just go and do work experience anyway, it's hilarious. Be the person who makes a problem go away, rather than going, I want some more work, I need some help with this. Make a problem go away, they'll remember it and they'll get a job. Loads of people at Heat are there because of work experience, but we'll go on to that. So other routes into journalism that have worked. Write good stories. I know it's really shocking, but actually writing great content works really well. Be funny on Twitter. There is a guy, Joel, who's now employed at Heat full-time as a journalist because he was really funny on Twitter. And now he's leading the tone for Heat, so be good. Internships are excellent, although you will end up working for free for about a year. Actually, legally you can't do that anymore, it's 2 weeks, isn't it? It's shit, but it will get you started. And local papers is a great route. So I had really no idea where this talk's going. So, right, every time you see this sign, the next slide is randomly selected, and these two people definitely didn't ever have an affair, but we couldn't write about it because we didn't have enough proof. That's the bit that has to be cut out. Okay, making your blog count. Here are some tips that we've kind of distilled from blogs that have been really successful. There's Paris Hilton, who obviously was a Titan, but is shit now. Choose a name that makes sense. I have a friend who's a brilliant, brilliant baker, and she writes about baking. She's called her blog Average Baker. She will never get anywhere in search. And it's a real shame because she's really, really talented. Second point, be anonymous or be brave or be both. Be a name people recognise. So people are getting traction because they're known in the blogging community, and people do check because it's easier than doing actual real work. So they're always on blogs. If you're someone with an opinion, it will really make a difference. Update regularly, so blogging twice, then leaving it for 6 months, which I have done recently, is not a good idea. Don't get caught up in the blog world. I had this recently, I was at a talk at the Google offices by O2, and there were a load of people in the London blogging scene who were like really big movers and shakers, and like 6 people read their blog. Really get a reality check on that. We'll come back to this point, but it's really important to be aware of, because you end up going to parties with great people who are really fascinating, and they become your best friends, and suddenly you get this kind of opinion that you're all really making a difference, and most of you won't be. And I fall guilty of this, but also get a circle of blogging mates. It's amazing the difference it makes to have people on your side, talking about stuff, sharing tips, supporting each other. It's huge. I've got like a whole family in London of weirdos I met off the internet. Yeah, and be on Twitter all the time. Oh look, it's the symbol again. Everyone ready? You really better not tweet this, I'll get sued. That's a strange reaction, do not tweet this. Okay, readers, their friends, and straight on the internet. This is like the one slide that's actually really useful. So any journalist will tell you that when it comes to story, it's who, what, where, why, when. But when it comes to modern journalism, online, you need to think about some really common things. I'm going to walk over here and point out. Right. So what would the person looking for this story type into Google? Most people will type Ryan Gosling. So get him into the story. This is another point later on. Okay, what can I do to make the story stand out from all others on the internet? The moment the story is on the internet, it is gone. Everyone has it. It's over. You've got no exclusives. You've got maybe, oh, in the gossip world, you've probably got 5 minutes till the Daily Mail steal it. And then so you've got to make it stand out. You've got to do something that makes it different. You can't just write, here are my top 10 things for Fashion Week. You've got to make it different. Because otherwise no one cares. Right. Why would this person share it with their friends? That's the most important point. You've meant something amazing, but why is someone going to put it on their Facebook wall so their friends see it? You've got to get these people to do the marketing for you. And that's almost the most important point on this slide. Will anyone care about this story in 8 hours' time? Now this is really more gossip, news orientated. Like, you know, a story that's posted 8 hours ago is old news. It's like the Harlem Shake. But you've got to think about, if I write this story now and I've just spent a couple of hours writing it, and loads of people might look at it right now, will people look at it in 6 months? It's a terrifying stat that on the Heat website, every month, over 10,000 people log on just to look at Dappy's cock. And they do it every month. Who knew? Right, yeah, and can I get a cat gif or Ryan Gosling in this story? It's shocking how effective those 2 points are. Next thing. Right, so let's look at things that work. First thing that works, hard-hitting journalism. What would Harry Styles and the rest of One Direction look like with a beard or a moustache? Obviously this is Justin Bieber, but this was a really popular gallery. We just had to write something about One Direction. We made it silly, we made it fun, people shared it, and people engaged with it again. Because you can get your news anywhere, so suddenly you want to go somewhere you like. The other thing that works really well, telling the inside story. We invented some possible future careers for James Arthur, who is going to have no career, one of which was obviously a dictator. That story got shared thousands of times. And everyone else could write James Arthur won the X Factor. It wasn't a surprise story, but we turned it into something silly. And that's the thing you've got to get across, that everyone can get access to every information. So how do you stand out? Being fast and getting exclusives is important, but I put it third on the list because really it's really hard to do. I mean, obviously this is an earth-shattering one, and it's probably going to get a Pulitzer Prize for this one. But yeah, fast is good, but it's not the be-all and end-all. And also, if you write something really fast, you might get something legally wrong and get phoned up by Sienna Miller, who's, I'm not going to say what she is, but bad. Okay, the internet means people are reading more things, and that includes people who don't like reading. That's why the Daily Mail's a success. Nobody reads the Daily Mail stories, they just look at the pictures and sneer. This is a really key fact. Infographics is part of this trend, but it's more than that. I mean, it's cat gifts, basically. So there's a future for media if you tap into that. It's not just about 16,000 words. You can write long form. It does work when people are really engaged with the subject, and they're more likely to share, because if they read 1,600 words and are satisfied, they've suddenly become a champion for that content. But you do have to realise it's more than just words. Right, rule 6, and this is really for the bloggers. No one will take you seriously until you have 1 million page impressions, unique users, YouTube hits, whatever. You've got 1 million of something. Then you're real. We had this guy who did an audition for the X Factor. No, sorry, Britain's Got Talent. And they phoned him up and said, yeah, I can say this one. They phoned him up and said, yeah, we want to get you in, you're really good, you know, we want you on the show. He does 8-bit music and sings over the top of it. And they set him up for the audition to be ridiculed and take the piss out of him. I noticed this on Reddit, which comes up to the point, and we spoke to him, but he'd already had like 6 million views on his YouTube channel, so he wasn't just a person, he's already got a following. So it suddenly became a much bigger story.